Welcome to the Morel Dog Podcast. My name. We're starting this off good. I'm Brian. This is my co-host,
Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a day, guys. But here we go. Today we are going to go over the pups. So I'm raising 3 labs. They're almost 8 months old now. We've been training them for Morel dogs. We're going to talk about those. Just tell you a little bit about them. Anyways, we have the best, Red, and then I forgot their names. Jake, and then Bo. Bo's more of a pet dog than a working dog, but some people will disagree with me.
Mm-hmm. I love him. He's my favorite.
Why is he your favorite?
Like every time I go to put on the leash, I go to pet him or anything, he just sits there and just lets me love on him.
He's a really good pet dog. So when I pick dogs, I look for them dogs that'll just drive in anything. So when they're this young, to put anything could be difficult. They're just maniacs, right?
Yeah.
Bo's not. That's more like Jake or Red. But once you take those dogs and you mold them and you show them to redirect all that energy into something else, that's what I'm going to do with Red and Jake. And I'm going to try to bring some energy out of Bo, build him up a little bit to see if we can't get him to find somewhere else. But anyways, because I raised these pups, we've had them since we raised them so he was born. At 8 weeks old, it was probably 6 weeks old, we started doing box feedings. Basically, I put a box in their pen in their little area and throw food in it and let them go in there and eat it out. So the box and the training, which we're going to go over all the Morel dog, how we train Morel dogs here in a second. But I did that at 8 weeks old, or 6 weeks on up through 8, 10 weeks, until we brought them out here, I guess, at 12 weeks out to the kennel. So I have a puppy shed. I raise them in, and once they hit 12 weeks, we bring them to the kennel with the rest of the dogs.
How many original puppies did you have?
7. So the last 2 litter, Prairie's had 2 litters, and both litters had 7. 10. So anyways, I kept 3 out of this litter, 2 with the intentions of finding them new homes come, I was saying April, but I think I'm going to push it back to May, the middle of May, before I actually let them go to new homes, because I have a bunch of events in May, Morel festivals we're going to go to and show off our Morel dogs. So I'm going to keep them until our last event ends May 18th, and then we'll come home, and then by then we'll have new homes for them and they'll go to their new homes. So anyways, how we train. Do you know how we train Morel dogs?
The very little, like I know by your videos on Facebook, how you reward them when they hit that certain smell.
So the idea is to get them to love that smell.
Mm-hmm.
The whole idea of training a dog to find things like morels or sheds, or at least for me, is to get them to love that scent. I want them when they smell that, boom, they're going to it. And I do that through a reward-based program, but I start with a wooden box. It's about 1 foot by foot tall. And because it's just a small area, I can put the scent inside the box. They have to stick their head inside the box. Anytime their head's in that box, they're getting rewarded. At the same time, they're smelling that scent. And at the very first time they do it, they hit the scent, they get fed. Hit the scent and get fed. It really makes that odor very powerful to them, has a lot of value to them. And then, of course, once we get with the box, I usually do the box for a week or so, just to get them to love it. With the pups, I've done it longer, just because I've had them, I've been raising them, so we've done it off and on since they were 6 weeks old. But then we go to a scent tubes. And the idea of that is having this scent in different containers. So 1 scent tube I would do Morel scent, 1 scent tube hot dogs, 1 scent tube dog food, their kibble they eat every day, and then other scents, of course. And the idea is to show them that they love the Morel scent, but they also love the scent of dog food and hot dogs, right? Yeah. So we have to show them that the only scent that pays is the Morel scent. And I do that with my scent tubes. You could use any type of canister. Technically, you could use boxes if they had like holes on a lid on it with a hole in it. Anything, it doesn't matter. You can get creative with that. I like the scent tubes, just easy. But from the scent tubes, I take it a step further and I use a scent wheel to show them that the only, so in the scent wheel, basically, it's a wheel that spins. You know, if I push it, it'll spin around. Mm-hmm. And I have a little, basically, salt shaker sitting on it. And when they hit the one with Morel in it, of course, I pay them for it. But now I can, when they come back to pay to get the reward, I can spin it so the Morel's never in the same spot.
Yeah.
So they actually have to hunt for it. So that's how I really, and this whole time we're still creating the love and we're showing them that nothing else pays. Mm-hmm. And then the last step of that is the glass jar, and it's just a glass jar with one of these babies in there. And then real Morel also. So what they do is they see the Morel, they stick their nose in the glass jar, so they smell the Morel, but they can't get to the Morel. They can't touch it with their mouth. Mm-hmm. So we're starting to get that visual plus the smell equals pay. Once we get that to that part, then we're ready to move on to indication. And actually, to be honest, where I'm at now with the pups at 8 months is we're starting the indication. So I take a tin, just an empty canister, put dog food underneath of it, put it on the ground. When they sniff it, I give it to them, and then I build off that, and they learn to, basically I teach them to stare at that canister, and they get rewarded. And I use a canister first to get the idea, and then I'll bring in the fake Morel, and I butter it up with scent, and then I'll put this on the ground and have them hit on it. And we do all this in the training room. Get everything in a controlled environment, then I take it outside. That's kind of the basics of my Morel training, just to, the basic outline. There's a lot more to it, a lot more in depth. But the biggest thing is eventually getting these to the woods and randomly hiding them, and then taking your dog and see if they can find them. That's the final step. They smell like it, they look like it. The idea of my Morel dogs is they use their nose first, and then once they get that scent, they start looking more for the visual. And even if they can't see it, they work the scent up to it. But from what I've noticed, most of the time, my dogs will not hit on this unless they can see it. And I just think it's because of the way we train. Mm-hmm. I'm sure if I buried it underground where they couldn't see it, and still had to, in their training, they would do it. But I want them to, if they can't see it, I don't want it, right? Because if it's just a baby coming up out of the ground, underneath the leaves or whatever, if they hit on it and go towards it, can't find it, we just move on. Yeah. Because it's too small, I don't want it. Mm-hmm. We'll wait till it grows bigger and pick it.
So do you think they'll be ready for this season?
The pups?
Mm-hmm.
I think the pups are going to, so just to back up a little bit, I've taken my initial dogs, Winston and Prairie. Over 3 years ago, I started working with them and got where I thought they was pretty decent. And then I had a litter of pups. I took through, actually, mainly just 2 of those pups, and I trained them. And I thought they were just doing better than their parents, right? And this year, I believe these 3 dogs are going to be at least 2 of them. Maybe not Bo. But these 3 dogs are going to be some of the best dogs I've ever trained.
Really?
But it's all because, to my knowledge, no one has done this. So I'm just trial and error. I get the basic idea of scent work and stuff like that, but Morel's is a little different. I made some mistakes. And when I first started, I wasn't that good at scent work. I had the idea, but practice makes perfect, right? So I have done enough of this where I feel I'm getting a lot better. My dogs are telling me, by the way they're improving and getting better, that we're doing a better job training them. So my hopes and goals is these dogs are the best I've ever trained. And that's the reason why I want to keep them until the end of the festivals, so I can take them, because they're just doing really well. So, anyways,
talking about training the pups.
Yeah.
I might have trained Bo to do something, which I figured I should just say in front of the camera so I don't get in trouble.
What are you doing to my dogs?
Okay.
Probably the reason why he didn't want to work today is because you're training to.
No, nothing bad. But when we go out on that steps outside,
Mm-hmm.
he always sits and I pet him and I tell him to hug and he jumps up on my shoulders and he'll just stand there and I'll get to pet him.
So it kind of makes sense why I'm getting this polyp on me.
No, he did that before. That's just his thing. That's all the pups things.
No, he's the only one that does it to me. I don't get it from the other two. Now, so just on that, a little off the Morels, but is that the only place you do it? Is right out there?
Primarily, yeah.
So you haven't generalized the training enough for him to want to do it in here with me.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I told Heather about it and she was like, he never does that to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's just a prime example of how you have to generalize the training on a dog to show him when the picture changes, everything changes for the dog.
Yeah.
So, and that's with the Morel training, the reason why we start it in here, and then we go out to the yard, then we go to the woods, and then I go to different woods, and I hit as many different areas, different scenarios. You know, if I can get along a river someplace and do a training scenario, I would, or wherever it might be, wherever you would find mushrooms, you want to kind of, because if the picture changes, it could change for the dog. I've seen it before, where for whatever reason, the dog ran right past. You know, the wind was blowing. The dog ran past through the scent and just kept right on going. It was an area that wasn't wooded. We usually do. At the end, I primarily do wooded areas. You know, I start outside in the grass and stuff, but then we get to the woods, and that's really where I do a lot of training, because that's where you find them at.
Right.
And the only thing, because I called him back through it, I seen the Morels, I called him back through the scent and still didn't. I just think the picture changed and he didn't realize.
Not used to it.
Yeah, and that was like earlier on in my trainings. So, anyways, we continue to learn. Kids, you gotta sleep more. Quit staying up playing Pac-Man or Mario Brothers.
Call of Duty. Alright, so are morel mushrooms the only type of mushrooms that dogs can indicate on?
Well, it's not the only type they can, but it's the only type I train for. My belief is, because I've had and I've read, when I first started this, I did a bunch of research. So I'm not the first person to try it or think about it. I didn't invent this idea. It's out there. Just no one has taken it as far as I have. One of the issues is they're like, well, if they hit on morels, they're going to hit on poisonous mushrooms and possibly eat them. Well, I firmly believe that morels have a distinct scent. They don't, people are like, well, it's a fungi. That's a fungi. But they're different scents. Morels have a different scent that the dogs smell. Remember when the whole beef stew things with dogs, have you ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
Where if you're cooking beef stew and the dog walks in your home, if he could talk to you, he would be like, I smell the meat in it. I smell the carrot. I smell the potatoes. I smell the salt, or whatever it is you put in. He's pulling out all the ingredients and telling you exactly what's in it. Where you walk in, like, it smells like beef stew,
And they smell everything.
And they smell everything. So that's what I believe with the morels. There is a distinct scent in there that they're picking up, that they hit on. And I've never seen, in the 3+ years I've been doing this, ever seen a dog go to any other mushroom except for morel. Now, I'm sure even you could train them to go to whatever other mushrooms are out there, the puffballs or the chanterelles or whatever it might be. You could always train them on that, but morels have a distinct smell. They're just hitting on that smell, and I just 100% believe that I don't have to worry about it any more than the next guy who takes his dog to the woods. We have a kennel here. We do boarding and stuff. I took a dog out to the yard. It's been a few years ago. We just taking him out. On the way out the door, I realized I forgot to search the yard for mushrooms. It was that time of year. There's been a problem. We go remove them every day. And that dog went out and then when it seen that mushroom, it went right to it and ate it before I could get to it. Luckily, it wasn't a poisonous mushroom, but the whole idea is it went to a mushroom and ate it without this dog had any scent work, nothing to do. It was just a regular pet dog that just went and ate a mushroom. It didn't hurt it. Like I said, they're not poisonous, the ones that was out there, but it happened. So, in my belief is it could happen to any dog that goes in the woods. Just any dog that goes to the woods is just likely to poisonous ones, my dogs, in my opinion. So that's kind of where I feel about it. It's all about the scent training and getting them to love that smell.
Yeah. It's also about like just keeping your dog safe if they go out hunting with you and stuff.
Yeah.
So they don't indicate on the, or if they don't like have the instinct to just eat that mushroom right away.
Yeah. And that's, in the training, we teach them not to eat these, I'm not saying that you'll never have a dog take the top of one off or something, but in our trainings, we teach them to just indicate, don't consume. And we could, there's a lot of other edible mushrooms out there. Have you heard of any? Like chicken of the woods, giant puffballs, golden oyster, chanterelle mushrooms, oysters, lion's mane, and there's more. I've actually, my phone is elsewhere, always, but I have an app on my phone to identify mushrooms. Because I've always just been Morels. I'm like, nah, I've tasted, chicken of the woods and that before. And they're all right, but I've never really actively searched for them. Well, as I get more into this Morel hunting with dogs and doing more research, this year I'm going to start actively looking for other mushrooms to find besides Morels. I'm not going to train my dogs on it, but I'd like to be able to find it. So I've got this app on my phone that's supposed to, if you find it, you take a picture and it identifies what it is.
Does it tell you where more are too?
No, that would be awesome though.
Yeah, they should. There's like fishing apps where like it shows you the lake and like what kind of fish are in that lake and stuff. It's cool.
It shows you where the fish are at.
I mean, not entirely where they're at, but in the general area.
Yeah. No. Anyways.
So I know you've talked about the mushroom shows and all that.
The festivals, yeah.
Is there anything else that you're...
So, yeah, there's actually quite a bit we're doing this year. I can't remember exact dates, but the end of February, there's the Indiana show. It's a deer and... I can't remember, it's a deer, turkey, waterfowl expo. It's a big show in Indiana. We're going to go over there. We went over there last year, had a lot of people there, really good turnout, good time. Then we're going to do Iowa show. I think it's the next weekend. So it's like right around the last weekend of February is Indiana. And then the next weekend, I do believe, or maybe it's 2 weekends after that, is Iowa. And then towards the middle of March is Peoria show, Deer and Turkey Classics. We're going to do all three of those. And then we're going to take a break from the shows, and hopefully by then it's going to warm up, mushrooms are going to start popping,
right,
and we're going to go mushroom hunting. We're going to do a bunch of traveling, mainly just Illinois. We might get outside the state a little bit, but just starting down south and working up with the mushrooms, hunting mushrooms, doing videos, all that good stuff. And then towards the end of April, the festivals start up. So the ones early in the spring are trade shows for deer and turkey classics and stuff like that. Once we get in the end of April, it's more festivals like Morel mushroom festivals. There's one in Kentucky, and I was actually watching a YouTube video on that last night, and they commented that up to 20,000 people go through there during this festival. So I think it's a 2 or 3. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I
didn't know it was that popular.
2 or 3 day thing. It's a huge one down there. And then there's one in Missouri the first weekend of May, but I don't know if we're going to do that. I did some research into that. I'm going to give them a call and I have some questions to ask. And then we're headed to Michigan there's 2 festivals up there, one on Mother's Day weekend and the one after. The one on Mother's Day, I talked to them and they said they get like, on average, 3,000 to 5,000 people go through there in the 3 days. On good years, they've had up to 8,000 people come through there, which that's a pretty good turnout.
Yeah.
That's about what the shows get, I think. And then the big one is the National Morel Festival up in, can't remember the town now, but Michigan. It's about an hour and a half north of the first one. I'm hoping that's going to be huge. Yeah, I would think if Kentucky can do 20,000, the National Mushroom Festival.
Yeah.
Because Michigan's a very popular state for morels. I'm actually excited to go up there. We're going to have some downtime in between the shows where hopefully, if we can't make contacts to go on private property, go hit some state ground with the dogs and see what we can find. Because I've heard crazy stories, like huge mushrooms up there. And we're excited to go see.
That would be cool.
So those are the shows we're doing. And from then, after I get done with that, I'm going to be done for a while. We'll be done traveling. Because
traveled half the world.
yeah, because from Kentucky, if we do Missouri, it'll be Kentucky straight to Missouri. From Missouri, we'll come back through home maybe for a night or 2 and then head to Michigan, just on the road constantly. And it sounds fun, but after you do it for a while, you're ready to be back home.
Yeah.
So, and I'll have to get back here and make sure you ain't got things screwed up.
I mean, I've been here for half an hour and I want to go home. I don't care. I like it here.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all we have for today.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us. Hopefully Carter has more to talk about next week. Peace out, dogs.
Peace out, dogs.